I'm ready when you are.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. It's a beautiful day in Jacksonville. I'm Tim Johnson, this year's president. I want to welcome you to the Wednesday, August 21st meeting of the West Jacks Rotary Club. Sergeant, is everything in order?
Everything is in order, sir. We're here.
Very good, very good. All right, I'd ask the Zoom attendees to please mute yourselves and submit any questions or comments via the chat. And unmute yourself when it's time for us to hear from you. Our invocation today is by Drew Bisbee, and then Gigi Carroll will lead us in the pledge. I don't see Drew. Drew, are you here?
I thought I was doing it today.
She's here.
I don't see Gigi either.
Come
Come on up.
I thought I was doing it today.
All right, Lee, come on up. Lee, you'll do the invocation for us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Tim. I think today, fellow Rotarians, we should bow our heads and recite the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Lee. All right, so maybe somebody should tell me who's doing the pledge today. You don't mind? Larry, come on up here. Larry, come on up here. Join us. Lead us in the pledge, all right? Thank you.
You know, Captain Boss has been on my mind the past few days, you know.
Amen.
I'm, you know, a military guy like me, so. And I said, man, if Captain was here, what would he say to you, Larry? Tell him how important this is, you know. We deployed, we went places where he wanted to kill us, you know. And then when I hear people say the Pledge of Allegiance to America, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really good. Face the flag and let's have Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I'm sorry, given all.
Please take your seats. So we've got a lot on this big screen today, and I really want to thank the maestro for putting the rotation together. If you'll follow these pictures, you'll see that we've got a couple of big events coming up this Saturday, the 24th. For one, the ladies of Rotary are having their, what's it called? Brunch and booze. No, it's not brunch and booze. It's brunch and bubbles event. It's at Riverside High School at 11. You can RSVP through Ally. And I and a bunch of your board members and committee chairs will be attending Saturday's Vibrant Clubs workshop. We're going to bring back a lot of good ideas to the club. You'll also see that we had a phenomenal week of service. August 4th through the 10th was our week of service, where many of us went out into the community. We served in our churches, we served our neighbors, and a group of us in particular went to Riverside High School, and we served the incoming teachers and personnel that were about to start the next school year. There are some pictures there, lots of chicken, lots of cookies, big crowd. And somewhere there, you'll see the other Rotarians that were there in support of that effort.
They're working.
Yes, we have tried to tally the hours that this club has dedicated to its community and service. Now, as of the last thermometer, there were over 60 hours, and I know that's gone up since I sent you all a reminder a couple of days ago. So if you have an opportunity, you did some service work during the week of the 4th through the 10th, please get that information to Patty so that she can update the thermometer. We're gonna have 2 other service weeks during this year, this fiscal year. So let's get prepared to serve our community and serve it well. I'd next like to bring up, past president Ike Sherlock, who is, going to introduce our newest member. Ike, come on up, and I'm sure they're happy for you because you brought Katie in. Tell us all about it.
Hello, Rotarians. I want to introduce Katie Quackenbush. She's going to be our newest West Jacks Rotarian. Katie is a Jacksonville native, graduated from Bishop Kenny and then the University of Florida. So she's a Gator. Katie's the marketing manager for Heritage Chapel, and what that means is she handles all of the marketing activities and communications for that large farm. That's pretty important stuff. She is on the board of directors for the Memorial Park Association. She's a former Rotaractor, and her father is a former president of Southjax. So she's got a bunch of street cred coming in here to join us. Most importantly, she is mom to Amelia, age 4, and Landon, age 3, and her husband is Keith Quackenbush. So I would like to introduce you to the newest West Jacks Rotarian, Katie Quackenbush. Here's the bag for you. It's got the red badge. We'd ask you to stand at the door for a period of time and greet everybody, so you get to know everybody, and a bunch of Rotary swag in here.
Awesome.
Katie Quackenbush, everybody, give her a round of applause. All right, let me see. Look at this. We've got some announcements. Mike, is Mike Ritter here? You want to talk about the blood drive? Is Mike here? Come on up or stand there. It's up to you. Come on up. So it's that time of year, huh? It is. All right. So please ready.
Good afternoon. We have the blood mobile set up to come and serve both the Riverside Club and our club on September 11th. Really appreciate you guys signing up, making some commitments and helping save lives. We did one a few months ago. Didn't do a very good job in trying to promote it, but I think we ended up donating 6 units. Riverside Club donated 2. They seem pretty happy about it. I'm hoping we can do a little bit better this round. So please, if you're willing and able, sign up and let's give blood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Are there any other pop-ups? Anything anyone else wants to tell us about before we move into the Family of Rotary? All right, seeing none, this week's Family of Rotary report is going to be done by Carl Dawson. Come on up, Carl. Tell us what's going on in the club.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Fellow Rotarians, yes. Rahul, are you here?
I am here.
I can't hear you. Will you please demonstrate that you're here?
Carl Dawson, I am here.
I'd like to say that I'm glad that Jimmy Kelly's here. He's been in the hospital. Jimmy, you want to give us a quick report about what's going on with you? Jimmy? Jimmy, can you hear me?
I was, in two conversations. Could you repeat that?
I'm sorry, I heard you were ill and you're back. Everything all right?
Yeah.
Jimmy's okay. Okay. My buddy Shep College had surgery on the 30th. He had 4 bypasses and a valve replaced. He is back at home. He is walking. And he's limited to family relations only 1 time a day. So I think he's going to survive. I think he's good. Birthdays. We have Jim French on the 1st, Jim Shoemaker on the 10th, Ed Lombard on the 15th, Allie Mickelstein on the 17th, Alton Yates on the 19th, Kevin Hurd on the 19th, Brian London Brian's here.
He is, he's at the desk.
Brian, there's Brian back there. Happy birthday, Brian. Jeff Collins is on the 27th and Richard Tackett will be on the 31st. I do want to say that unfortunately we lost Mark Halsey's wife, Donna. Mark, very sorry. And we lost his past president, Bill Boss. 2 wonderful people that we'll never forget. Finally, I have a quick joke. A man went to the priest and he said, "Father, is there a golf course in heaven?" Father said, "I'm not sure, but let me get on the hotline and I'll check it out for you." So the next day, the man sees the priest and said, "Did you find out if there was a golf course?" Priest says, "I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is, yes, there's a golf course. The bad news is you have a tea time at 8 o'clock.
Carl, that was pretty good.
That was.
You're getting better. All right, guys. We're at that point in the program, we're going to introduce today's speakers. And as you know, I've
Yeah.
promised you,
Yes,
Yes, the visiting.
yes, the visiting Rotarians.
oh, we're going to do that first? All right. William Dollar Milne's going to come up and do the.
Thank you, Jim. Well, guys, it's good to be back as a one-off for the Sergeant at Arms today. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And Carter, we look forward to having you back soon. As Raul always did such a great job with this, I want to give a very special appreciation to Stu and Patty for being the first, for being our, what do you call it,
You know, Sergeant at Arms Milne, I thank you for the special appearance. Mic check, 1, 2.
We can hear you. Special thanks.
Special thanks to our air traffic control.
Air traffic control. Thank you. Thank you.
Crew for helping ensure that Rotarians land safely and depart safely.
Thank you, Raul. Thank you for the.
Stu Irwin and Patty Chip.
Thank you. And I didn't see any visiting Rotarians unless, have any come in the last 10 minutes? Visiting Rotarians? All right, well, we have a couple of guests today. Ron Roberts, will you please introduce your guests? Oh, yes. And welcome. Good to see you. And Josh Harrison, will you introduce your guest, please?
Yes, sir. I have a longtime friend of mine, Jason Spencer. He is a commercial banker with Regions Bank.
Great, welcome. And Lombard?
And I also have a guest from the Downtown Club, past Assistant Governor Jerry Kelly.
Jerry, so good to see you. Jerry, I look forward to seeing you in Hawaii again soon too. All right, that concludes my report.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Wood and Melissa Ross being here. I was going to skip the guests, skip the visiting Rotarians and get right to the show. But I'm really excited about today because we've committed to bring you great speakers, interesting topics, and to do it in a format that might be a little unconventional. So today we've got Raul Sharma, who I call High Bar because he's going to be next year's president. And he is going to introduce our speakers and interview our speakers today. Our theme today is youth literacy. Melissa and I are working with Dr. Randy Thornton, Mike Crumpler on a really exciting event that's going to happen the first or second week of September with regard to reading and reading right from the start. We're really excited about it. There'll be more to come on that. And Jane is a famous local author. She's written several books oriented toward children and history. So we're gonna have an exciting time talking about books and kids and literacy in West Jax Rotary. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Raul. Tell us a little bit more about these fine women and what you're gonna do with them today.
Certainly. Thank you so much, President Tim, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everybody, fellow Rotarians and guests. And, you know, we talk about a commitment to service, which means thinking about other people other than ourselves. And so our approach to inviting speakers is to share unique perspective. And it's also to have thought-provoking discussion. And I'm really proud to serve alongside President Tim Johnson as part of our Women's in Leadership Speaker Series. And today, you will hear from two very accomplished women that I have the privilege and courtesy of introducing to you all today. And it will be a very interesting program. Melissa Ross is the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Press Liaison for the City of Jacksonville. She focuses on major initiatives prioritized by Mayor Donna Deegan, along with media relations. She currently serves as the lead on the mayor's citywide literacy challenge, which we'll hear more about in today's presentation, referred to as River City Readers. Prior to joining the administration of Mayor Deegan in 2023, Melissa spent 14 years at CT show First Coast Connect and the statewide public affairs radio program, the Florida Roundup. She is the recipient of 4 regional Emmy Awards and an Edward R. Murrow Award and a graduate of Leadership Jacksonville class of 2013. Married with 2 children, Melissa received her bachelor's degree in communications and journalism from Northwestern University. Fellow Rotarians, please join me in welcoming Melissa Ross. Panel. Melissa, great to have you here with us. Please have a seat here next to me. This will be your microphone for today. Please welcome Melissa. And our second speaker, and you heard President Tim reference her, Jane Wood. Jane, thank you for accepting our invitation today. She is the author of 5 award-winning juvenile fiction books and owner of Florida Kids Press. A former teacher, newspaper reporter, and television producer, Wood weaves history and science into stories. She combines history and science, filled with mystery, adventure, and humor for young readers from the ages of 8 to 14. Because her books are educational as well as fun, they are used in schools across the country. Wood has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Florida and a Master's in Education from the University of North Florida. She serves on the board of directors for the Florida Authors and Publishers Association. Please join me in welcoming Jane Wood to the speaker panel. Welcome, Jane. Our pleasure. This will be your microphone for this afternoon's discussion. Special thanks to our Rotary Game Day crew for bringing us on the set here today. Joe Springer, who's been actively preparing all week. Melissa and Jane, this is all that he does. No, he's got a life. He's got a lot that he does. Joe Springer, we appreciate you. And the conversation today, and when I told Melissa and Jane that neither one of them is going to be doing the heavy lifting. They're going to be sharing with us what they know, their insights about a very important topic, youth literacy. And even in an ever-changing society that we live in today, and society is moving at a very fast pace, youth literacy is very important in terms of building the fundamentals of reading. But first, Melissa, I had to say it was hard to believe that you are in your 2nd year serving the city of Jacksonville. Congratulations.
I still can't believe it.
I know you're moving at warp speed. And you're serving in the mayor's office. I'm sure it was hard though, because you had pretty deep roots at WJC. And you did such a great job. Did it take any convincing on Mayor Deegan's part for you to join her staff?
Well, let me first say that I worked with Donna years ago at First Coast News and have known her for many years and admired her, of course, for everything she has done for the community. After she was elected mayor, it was not a tough decision, I have to tell you. Because I think so many of us that are working in the administration truly are deeply engaged and committed to the work that we're doing, whether it's literacy, health, beefing up the city's infrastructure, a whole range of initiatives that we're working on that I think have widespread support and that are going to improve quality of life for our citizens. So it's been a really wild, fast, interesting year. I've enjoyed every bit of it. It's been good work to do.
Well, Mayor Deegan is very fortunate to have you, Melissa Ross, on her staff. As I've shared with you, even during pre-production, many of us are big fans of your work. For so many years, you've been behind the microphone, and now this is a unique perspective for me to ask you very meaningful questions.
He's doing a good job.
Oh, well,
isn't he?
well, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I think
I'll never be
he's
better
good.
than Melissa. I'll never be better than
No,
Melissa.
you seem pretty good at this, I gotta tell you.
Thank you, Melissa. Let's talk about it. Let's get to it. What, I see boy wonder over here, Josh Harrison laughing at me. He can get away with that. Tell us, Melissa, about River City Readers.
Sure. So let me begin by saying, just today, I got these really cute River City Readers lapel pins in from the Kids Hope Alliance. So here's one for you.
Thank you.
Here's one for Jane. And yes, River City Readers is an initiative that we started last year. The inspiration for it honestly came from Mayor Payton. How many of you remember Mayor Payton's book club, right? Okay, when my kids were in pre-K at St. Mark's Ark preschool, they received the Mayor Payton books and backpacks every year. And they were so wonderful and the kids absolutely loved them. So when I was hired, I went to the mayor and said, why don't we bring back the mayor's book club? Why don't we bring that back? Because to me, that's a really natural fit for what you're trying to accomplish. Because literacy isn't just literacy, it's economic development, it's public safety, it's quality of life. It touches on all of the priorities that we're focused on. And too many of our kids aren't reading on grade level. So we sought to restart the book club, but what we realized was that we are in the digital age now in a way that we weren't quite as much when that book club was undertaken. What Mayor Payton's book club did so well was make sure every VPK child received the books. But what we've done with River City Readers is to make it interactive and make it fun and competitive, frankly. So every child in the city, and some adults too are doing it, has been asked to download a free app called Beanstack and log their reading minutes in the app every day. And the top young readers at the end of the year are going to receive prizes and recognition along with some of the top teachers who've been helping us with the challenge. What Read Jax and Read USA, two of our partners, will say is that 20 minutes a day paves the way. If you can get kids to read just 20 minutes a day, they will improve their reading comprehension. So we've made that element of it more prominent as a way to get more kids excited about reading. We've given away tons of books and backpacks. We do lots of events. And we go out and we talk about this initiative all over the place. It's why I'm here today, to make sure everybody's aware of it. And so what I can tell you is that Mayor Payton loves what we're doing. And he's glad that this has been an idea that has been rejuvenated. And next year, we're going to kick it into a new phase when we put Mayor Deegan's River City Readers Bookmobile out on the street. So look out for that in 2025.
Melissa, I think that's a really good demonstration of good politics. regardless of party affiliation, to be able to take an idea from another party and then be able to apply it to your own administration and have it impact the community. So thank you for sharing that perspective. Now, I look over to Jane Wood. Now, this is not ill fate. This is, I think, a nice coincidence that we have Melissa and Jane together. These two women know each other. In fact, Melissa at one point interviewed Jane Wood. That's a true story. And so when President Tim and I said, we got to bring them both together, that's what we're going to do. Jane, so much of your focus, and listen, you've done it all, author, speaker, educator. This lady has taught middle school and upper school, high school. It's interesting, Jane, to learn more about some of your inspirations, but welcome to the program. What inspired you to start Get Kids Reading?
Get Kids Reading. Is this on? I don't know. Can you hear me?
Well, mics. Share the mic, please.
Yeah, look, we will help Jane Wood here just momentarily as this light comes on. There you go, Jane.
I can use my school teacher voice and project, but it'd be much easier this way. Get Kids Reading is a program that my company started last year at the encouragement from school board member Warren Jones. Warren and I were having lunch one day. He's a good friend of my husband's. We were having lunch and he knows I write books. And we had just been to an event where some of the nonprofits in Jacksonville were raising money to go into programs like Read Jackson, Read USA, and a lot of the mayor's initiatives and the library. And they were looking for donations from companies, large corporations for large amounts, maybe $5,000, $10,000. And Warren said to me, I wish there was something we could do for smaller businesses, local businesses that can make a difference with reading. And so that's how this Get Kids Reading program began. I've got flyers on your table if you want to read the specifics of it, but basically it comes down to an individual, a parent, a grandparent, a business, or a organization such as Rotary can donate a classroom set of books, 25 books for $200. And that's something very affordable that a local business, a small business can do. And it's something that gets them involved in trying to make a difference in their community. I've got lots of local business people. I've got other organizations. I've got parents and grandparents that are donating books. I've got a parent that her kids have grown and they're married and have kids of their own, but she wanted to donate a set of books to the elementary school her kids went to because she felt like they did such a good job. My books, basically, I have a 5-book series and there's a flyer on the table that talks about them and they're behind me. These are for young kids ages 8 to 12. But as a former teacher, I understood when I started writing books that if they weren't fun, if they weren't interesting, if they weren't something that kids wanted to read, they weren't going to read them. They are required to read certain books at school, but frequently those are the classics or they're books that they don't get real excited about. When I speak to parent groups, PTA groups, I always tell the parents, take your kids to the library, get them a library card or let them use your card, but let them pick out the books they want to read. The whole key is getting them reading. And so the program of Get Kids Reading is to put books in the hands of kids locally. Although I've had a school in California that's participated, a group in Tallahassee that's participated, but I'm specifically targeting Title I schools. These are the kids that we need to be reaching. And so, do I fade?
You did fade momentarily, but I'm going to have you share Melissa's microphone.
Okay.
Continue, Jane.
So the program is something that people feel like this is a way they can get involved. They can give back. They can make a difference, and it does take a village. So the idea is to get books in the hands of kids. When I was teaching school, the first year I taught, I was at a middle school and I'm teaching 7th graders. And many of the students in my class, it was a public school, many of them were reading on the 4th grade reading level. But the books that I brought in that they could digest, they were 4th grade books with that interest level. And my 7th graders said, these are baby books. We don't want to read these. So that first year I was teaching, I said, one of these days, I want to write a kid's book that's of a higher interest level, but on a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade reading level. And so in 2000, I got downsized from my corporate job. And I said, what am I going to do now? And I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to write that book. So my first book came out in 2004, which means it's 20 years old now. With bookstores and libraries, they don't want to touch them because it's 20 years old. Schools still like that book. In fact, it's my biggest seller. I sell a lot of books, and I sell most of my books directly to schools. It was called Voices in St. Augustine. And fourth graders in the state of Florida, that's where they study Florida history. So that book is used with a lot of fourth grade classes in the state of Florida and in other states around the country. I have a book that takes place in Savannah and Charleston. We talk about the early settlers, colonial history, obviously the Civil War, the American Revolution. I have a book that takes place in Boston. It's very compatible with the fifth grade curriculum because in fifth grade, that's where they learn about the American Revolution and the founding of our country. So in that book, my characters visit the Paul Revere House, the Old North Church. They tour the USS Constitution, which is that magnificent ship in Boston Harbor that George Washington commissioned, and people can still tour it today. So I've taken what I learned as a teacher, write books that kids will want to read. It's a series of 5 books, and a series means it's the same characters in each book. If we find an author as an adult that we like, we're always going to try to get the next book that just came out. Or a series like the Jack Reacher series with Lee Child. Once you read one of them, people want to read the next and the next. So my books are a series. I created characters that kids can relate to. It's about a family of 2 brothers and a sassy little sister. And most of the kids can connect to one of the characters. One of the boys is shy and studious. And then there's the other brother who gets into a lot of mischief and trouble. Teachers tell me my books are good boy books because they can relate mostly to Bobby, who always gets into trouble. So the key is write a book that they can relate to. I use settings of historic places because I love history and I want the kids to learn some history. And for teachers, if they're teaching about, say, the American Revolution, instead of just giving them names and dates and facts, they've got a fictional story and they can follow this family as they visit these locations. In the book that takes place in Savannah and Charleston, they learn some Civil War history. And so it's very much designed for 2 audiences. I write for the kids and I make it fun so that they'll want to read the story. And I write it for the teachers and I make it very compatible with what they have to teach. You can't just try to sell another cute book to schools. Schools and teachers don't have the time or the budget to spend on just another cute book. It's got to be reinforcing what the state standards are, what the benchmarks are, what the district expects of them. So you ask about what inspired me. I go back to my teaching days, what I learned there, and some of my marketing advertising skills I learned in television. And I put it all together when I started writing the books. And for me, it's been very successful, but right now, very rewarding because I'm really visiting a lot of Title I schools. And those are the kids that we need to be reaching.
It's a great source of inspiration, Jane, and West Jacksonville Rotary commends you for taking that inspiration beyond. For our viewers at home, you are watching the speaker panel featuring Jane Wood, noted author, educator, speaker, owner of Florida Kids Press, joined alongside by Melissa Ross, Director of Strategic Initiatives and Liaison of the Press City of Jacksonville Office of Mayor Donna Deegan. Melissa, I want to come back to you, and here's your microphone, Joe. Thank you for the secondary mic there. What was the most interesting trend, Melissa, since the launch of River City Readers, which according to my timeline, which would have been January of 2024, what has been the interesting trend, and how do you know whether or not Duval County Schools is making progress?
I think the most interesting trend has been how well it has frankly gone. We just crossed 2 million minutes of citywide reading, measured in the Beanstack app and at the mayor's transparency dashboards. If you go to jacksonville.gov, we've started something new in the city of Jacksonville. When the mayor was campaigning, she heard a lot from voters like you. We need more transparency at City Hall. So one thing that we did was put right on the homepage at jacksonville.gov a series of transparency dashboards. One of them shows how many minutes people have been reading in River City Readers, along with which age groups and schools are participating the most. There's a transparency dashboard for public works projects, for tree planting, for animal care and protective services, for a range of city services and programs. So when we launched the initiative, we set the goal a little lower, actually a lot lower, because the people at the Beanstack app who do these kinds of literacy challenges all over the country, I said to them, why can't we set a citywide goal of 1 million minutes this year? And they said, oh no, your demographics don't support that at all. And it was so condescending. I was like, what does he mean by that? So we set it at, I think, 500,000. Well, the kids flew right through that. So then we increased the goal to 1 million. They blew right through that. So then we upped it to 1.5 and then 2. And we've passed 2 million minutes of reading with thousands of readers out there. And we've still got 4 months left till the end of 2024. And so we tried to set the expectations at a moderate level when we first kicked off this initiative because it was a brand new thing. But it's been really gratifying to see how the kids and the teachers have embraced it. We did an event at a Title I school recently, and all the kids were telling us that they wanted to be a school that they, feel competitive with. They're trying to get a lot more minutes than the school a few blocks over. So it's just the spirit of fun around this initiative that I think has been so gratifying. And as Jane has been saying, giving kids books that they're excited about reading. We've worked with Kids Hope Alliance and Read USA and also the UF Lastinger Center to give kids books that they can take home and they can really enjoy. Because a lot of kids, beyond what they're assigned to read in school or they don't necessarily have a lot of books in their homes. So we're trying to get, as Jane said, lots more books into the hands of kids. And what was the second part of your question?
Well, first of all, before I get to the second part of the question, my goodness, I mean, you're goal setting and you still have 3 months left in the calendar year. How about a congratulations, round of applause for such a positive response. So what's interesting, Melissa, is, setting, a standard and then seeing the response of these children accumulating all these minutes of reading. Now, I know a very important initiative as well, and Jane, we'll get to this in just a moment, is in order to account for your progress, you have to be present. Tell us about the new citywide school attendance campaign.
Sure.
And what can you tell us about the start thus far, given the fact that we're back to school with the last 2 weeks?
Sure. So several months ago, as we were building this literacy piece out, Duval County Public Schools said to us, we really appreciate all the support you're giving us on literacy and reading, but guess what? We have another problem that we would love it if you would help us with it, and it's school attendance. Ever since the pandemic, our school system and every school system in the country has seen a huge spike in kids who are chronically absent. And, in some schools in our city, it could be as much as 30%, 40% of the kids who are defined as being chronically absent, missing more than 20 days of school per year. So they said, can you use the mayor's platform to help us raise awareness about this and incentivize kids to be in school, to physically be in school every day? So we teamed up with all of our typical partners like Read USA and DCPS. We also are working with the state attorney's office, Judge Michael Khalil, who's starting a truancy court, and just a whole range of stakeholders. And we launched an initiative the first week of school called Show Up to Shine, where we're incentivizing kids and schools to improve their attendance numbers. And at the same time, the new Duval County School Superintendent, Dr. Christopher Bernier, challenged the entire city to help him find 60 new bus drivers by Labor Day, because they are literally 60 bus drivers short. They don't have enough bus drivers to get the kids to school. So there are a lot of barriers for kids getting to school. Transportation's a big one, but there are other barriers that get into, a range of social pathology, social problems. So this is a complicated problem. But what we can do at the mayor's office is raise the awareness. we can incentivize attendance. Rob Kelly at Read USA is working with Blue Zones and City Year of Jacksonville to start a pilot program in 4 local elementary schools where they're going to be giving the kids a lot of extra support and attention to try to improve attendance numbers at those schools. And if that pilot works, the idea is to expand it citywide. Because, if the kids aren't in school, they're not learning to read and they're not improving their reading comprehension or any of their other skills. So this is a really basic thing that needs a lot of help. We've been working with the Jacksonville Chamber and the Jacksonville Civic Council on this too. They want to help and provide support. So that's something that goes hand in hand with the literacy piece that we've just started.
Yeah, Melissa, basic expectation of having the kids in the classroom, but there are external factors that can sometimes prohibit that. It sounds like you and the mayor's office are addressing it. Jane, we've heard a lot of positives. We've heard a lot about, the encouragement of youth literacy and developing the fundamentals of reading at the young age. However, when can you really tell that literacy is hard for a child?
Well, right now, the best way is looking at test scores. And the test scores are not very good for Duval County. I just pulled the numbers yesterday at the state level. These are done by the Department of Education 2024. In St. Johns County, the number of students reading above the reading level at 3rd grade is 76%, which is wonderful. In Nassau, it's 63%. In Clay County, it's 1%. In Duval, it's 49%. Less than half of our 3rd graders are reading on grade level. And that's part of the initiative that the mayor's office is doing. I have found, and I saw this myself when I was teaching, that if kids aren't reading at grade level by 3rd grade or 4th grade, we lose them. They are not successful in middle school and high school. Frequently, they drop out. It's not a pretty picture. Once they drop out, then we as a society or a community or a government, we get to deal with crime, drugs, gangs, unemployment, childcare, housing. The programs, the ones that we have to support. So it's critically important that we get kids at the upper elementary grades, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, to improve their reading skills. Now, a lot of the initiatives that Melissa's talking about in the mayor's office is getting those preschool kids in K through 2, which is extremely significant. But then we start losing a lot of momentum at the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade level. And so the test scores are showing that we aren't doing such a great job at that. And we do need to provide support to them. The other side of it is when you see the events that they're doing at the library, and they've done some outdoors in different places, and the enthusiasm with the families that show up. And the family is such a big part of getting kids to read and getting them successful in school. With all of my books, I do teacher resources, but because I'm targeting Title I schools, I also have a sheet of family activities. If there's a parent or a grandparent or a caregiver at that home that doesn't speak English, how do you get them involved in reading a book? So I put activities in there that can be done that connect the family group, whoever that is, back to the content of the book. And then hopefully that child is going to do some out loud reading to that parent or caregiver. The 20 minutes a day is critical to getting kids up to speed to where they need to be. So it's a combination of getting them books in their hands to read, and at the same time, making them fun and exciting so that they want to read them. So there's a lot of initiatives out there, but the key is we still have to get books in the hands of kids. Now, I know you'll say, well, what about the digital age? And certainly kids can read them as ebooks, and they're on their iPads, they're on their tablets, and they're learning a lot of problem solving and skill development, just the games they play. I look over at my 10-year-old grandson when he's playing one of those games, and Some character is always chasing somebody or always had to get around something or have to build something. This is problem solving. This is critical thinking. How do I do that? So if we can translate that into books, because these Title I kids and a lot of kids, they don't have a lot of books at home. They might not have a computer or an iPad or a tablet at home, but you can always give them a book that they can sit down and read. Take them to the library and let them check out the books if they can't afford them. And so all of these initiatives that are going on in our community are very good, but they do need community support.
And you may be asking, what can I do? You can adopt a school. You know, we've challenged the chamber and the civic council to go to their membership and say, can you adopt a school? And we'll connect you with that leadership at that school. You can do things like sponsor pizza parties or other things when a class has perfect attendance. Little things like that really go a long way.
A common theme between interest, community support, and doing something about it. And that topic is so important. My producer is telling me 1:15. We're doing well on time. Jane Wood, Melissa Ross. Let's give them a round of applause. I'm gonna let Melissa say one thing. We'll do 5 minutes more of speaker panel, and then I'd like to open it up to the floor if I could, but Melissa would like to say something.
I just want to thank you all for your work with giving gifts to new parents. Many of you may be familiar with this from the West-Jax Rotary Club, the book and the onesie, right? Okay, so, and then of course on the back is this little door hanger with safe sleep guidelines. So you guys reached out to me in the mayor's office and asked about partnering up with River City Readers. So we're doing that. On September 10th, West-Jax Rotary is joining with the mayor and UF Health, where we're going to do a mass giveaway of books and onesies and safe sleep guidelines to new parents at UF Health Jax. And so to me, these are the kinds of partnerships we're seeking to forge. And thank you, Mike, for all the help you've given, all of you guys that have been involved in this, so that we can continue this effort to strengthen families, really, because September is National Literacy Month and National Infant Mortality Awareness Month. So with this little package, we're helping on two fronts. And if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them, although I think you might be the better person to talk about this program than me, because you've been doing it well.
Mike Trump has been very passionate about this program. In fact, I was informed before today, our program president, Tim Johnson, that a recent conference call that included a few of our members, including Mike Crumpler and Dr. Randy Thornton. And so the partnership between UF Health, West-Jax Rotary, listen, there's not a better combination than literacy and new moms, because that's giving a new life. Amen. Let's give that a round of applause. I know I'll be very watchful of time. Otherwise, Joe Springer makes me run laps out at the country club parking lot. And so what I'd like to go back to is Jane Wood, if I may. This crackling sound, I want to beat that sound so bad, Joe. Maybe for another session.
You just fixed it.
I just fixed it. Oh, Melissa with her broadcasting skills just fixed it. I mean, he should really be in my seat. Listen, Jane, I mean, you know, so much we've talked about the basic fundamentals and principles of reading, but I want to ask you about how important is fluency, because that's taking reading to another level. We're talking about what we're teaching these kids at the grade level. We want them to be, you know, on par with their classmates and offer opportunities for them to advance their skills. But it's also important to know about what it is.
Sure. Fluency is a education term, and it's dealing with reading quickly, accurately, and comprehending. These are all skills that the teachers are being required to teach, and it's important that you get a student that if they read something, can they tell you about it? Can they summarize it? Again, these are all skills that they're having to reinforce. So fluency is very important, particularly if we want them to become lifelong readers. Once you get kids hooked at the early ages, maybe we lose them a little bit in middle school and high school, but they usually come back at some point because they go, oh yeah, I remember. I enjoyed that author, and maybe I'll find another book. So fluency is one of those skills that's critical when you're teaching reading. But again, unless you can apply it to a specific book or textbook or program that they're doing online, they're not learning. They have to be able to comprehend. And the best way to evaluate that, you were asking earlier, is have them summarize, what did you just read and what did you learn from that? What was important? And so you've got to make the rubber meet the road by taking those skills and actually applying it to some kind of text that they can give back to you.
Jane, thank you. Joe, if it's appropriate at this time, I'd like to open it up to the floor. And so if I could invite the help of William Milne, our Sergeant at Arms, if I could borrow a microphone, if I could maybe invite one or two audience members to ask a question of either Melissa Ross or Jane Wood. William.
I'll borrow this one.
Yep.
Please raise your hand. Oh, absolutely. President Tim, of course.
One more time. Round of applause. Raul, he's done a great job. A bunch of books behind you. If we want to buy your book, where do we go? How do we do it?
Well, you can certainly go to my website, which is simple, janewoodbooks.com, and there's flyers on the table. They're available at Barnes and Noble and many of the local bookstores. If you want a book personalized to a specific student and autographed, go to my website, or you can call me. My phone number is there on the bottom, or I've got business cards, and I'll see to it that I personalize it to your child or grandchild and autograph it. And so they're available everywhere. Best place to go is to my website or to Amazon.
Very good. And Melissa, you've done a great job of bringing together this coalition of organizations. We're very excited about being with UFL, with the mayor's office. Give us a sense of the potential that this might have. Right now, Dr. Randy Thornton, Mike Crumpler, we're doing several hundred books or packets a year. But you think this could have some legs, this could get bigger. Have you talked about it? Do you have any thoughts about where this could go?
Yeah, I don't see why not. We were advised by our folks in the mayor's office who work on health initiatives to start with UF Health. I know you've worked with other hospitals and pediatricians in the past, but yeah, I don't see why we couldn't expand this to other providers, because who wouldn't want this? You know, which hospital wouldn't want this? Yeah.
Thank you.
You have a question over here.
First, I want to say thank you so much for coming today. I taught for Duval County Public Schools for 15 years in the high school area, and I know by the time they get to high school, if they don't have those foundational literacy skills, sometimes it's almost too late where they do get to the point where they drop out. So the state collects massive amounts of data every year through their state assessments. But that is not translated to the next year with assistance with the students. So we know where you are. So you're not reading at grade level. So what can we do as a community to help move the needle to get the school warden and the school systems to use that data to ensure that they're the next year that a student gets assistance?
I'm going to defer to our teacher here on that.
Well, I think getting involved, the community getting involved, if it's doing a business partnership like she just suggested, there's lots of programs where you can go into schools and read to students. Every year, I get calls, I'm sure you do too. They want celebrities, Jaguars, people from the city government, business owners to come in and read to the kids. And usually it's at the elementary level, but I've seen it done at the middle school as well. So it's a matter of getting involved. It's also a matter of partnerships. And I'm hearing a lot about that here with what the mayor's office is doing with so many other nonprofits in the area, what Rotary clubs are doing. I speak and I do my program with some Kiwanis, with the Exchange Club, with the, Alberta was just here, the West Side Business Leaders is getting involved. But it's a matter of partnerships and letting the schools, the administration of the schools and the teachers at the teacher level know that there's citizens out there that care and want to be involved. And you'd be surprised when you go on a campus, you'll see all kinds of needs. And it's not anything you even have to solve with financial donations. It can just be lots of things that schools are doing that they would welcome some volunteers to come and help with that. So you're sending a message to the teachers, which is important, and the administration, but it also goes over to the kids as well. When you're going into a classroom and you're reading, or you're going in as a guest speaker, or you're just volunteering to do cleanup day at the school or whatever, it's getting involved and letting the schools know that the citizens and the people out there care about what they're doing and how can we help.
Local community and in our whole world. And we as Rotarians believe that it takes a community to improve people's lives and the way they read. And also, we like to use sports analogies where it takes a team. This project has been a total team effort on the part of our Rotary Club for years. We have promoted this project, and it took some leadership and direction for President Tim to reach out and to ask that if we could be a small part of what it is that you're doing to promote the literacy. So thank you so much on behalf of our Rotary. We look forward to contributing however we can. And thank you for getting the ball across the goal line. So we've got this coming fall football season, I guess. But thank you for all that you do for promoting literacy for our children in our schools.
No, last one.
I just want to make a comment, say thank you for coming today, but I wanted to let you know that our club supports literacy because every year, and I'm not sure what this year will be, we pass out dictionaries to third graders. And traditionally, since I've been here 4 years, we've been going to Ramona Elementary, but it's so cool to the third graders. We have hundreds of them that we pack and all. And the first thing we do is we give them to the kids and have them put their names in it. And they get all excited because they're all the same color, the bright yellow. If you lose it, then it looks like everyone else. But then if you'll notice on our Rotary, our four-way test, some of those words, we have the kids engage and look up like the word beneficial, and then whoever can find the word first, they get like a prize, like a little calculator, like a 10-cent, but they just get excited. So Joe Eberly, is he here? So he has organized the dictionary drop off. Are we doing that this year again, or?
Not sure.
We're not sure yet. Okay, but anyway, I just want to say how we support the community. And there are people in this club that remember getting dictionaries when they were in third grade. So
No.
anyway, I just want to let you.
Jane Wood, Melissa Ross, this was a lot of fun. Let's do this again. West Jacks Rotary, please join me in giving them a round of applause. I want to send it back over to President Tim Johnson. Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Tim.
Thank you. All right, everybody, we're at the end of our meeting. I want to thank again Melissa Ross, Jane Wood, Raul Sharma. They did a great job. I want to give you reminders about the Vibrant Club Seminar this Saturday in Orange Park, the 24th. Next week, our guest speaker will be our district governor, Mickey Ulmer. And I want to say congratulations one more time. Please join me in congratulating our newest member, Katie Quacker. Springer. Well, okay, thank you. Brian London shared the duties at the registration desk. Brian, thank you as well. I also wanted to remind you all, it was brought up earlier by Carl Dawson about the passing of Donna Halsey. Saturday is also the 24th at 11, the date of her homegoing service. It's an early opportunity to say hi and visit with family and support her husband, Mark. So for those of you who aren't going to make it to the brunch with the ladies or to the Vibrant workshop, I want to encourage you to support Mark in his recent loss. and attend the funeral services Saturday at 11. It will be at Oak Lawn Chapel in San Jose. With that said, I'd like to invite Meredith Smith, as she's here, to do the four-way. I didn't see Meredith.
Let Josh do it.
Josh, do you know the four-way?
Yes, sir.
Would you mind?
Yes.
Thank you. Please stand as we recite the four-way test.
Fellow Rotarians, please join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First.
Is it true?
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth.
Will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, everybody.
You were so good at this.
Raul, mic off. Come on, man. Better than I even. Thank you.
Well done.